Hello, welcome to Loremaster's Lair. I'm your Loremaster, here today for another video on the gods of Golarion. We are in the home stretch when it comes to main 20, only 4 more before closing the set out. So, of the remaining 4, who is this month's pick? Why, Zon-Kuthon, of course. Deity fallen to the void, now twisted monarch of the plane of shadows and the nation of Nidal. Who better to choose as a deity for a spring month? But what lies in the shadows, and where can you learn as such? First, as always, we find a fully illuminated information in the book Gods and Magic, one for both editions. We start to delve into the dark in the 5th book of the Curse of the Crimson Throne adventure path, titled Skeletons of Scarwall. The darkness was doubled in the book Inner Sea Gods. More shadows were explored in Faiths of Corruption, and the path became lost in plain adventures. And the deepest of secrets comes from Weapons Master Handbook, Nidal Land of Shadows, and the Secrets of Magic. The god Dubrol was brother to Shaelin. They shared the domain of music and beauty between them. Sure, they got into fights like normal siblings do, but nothing which one would think would lead to outright animosity. But one day a fight went too far, and Dubrol left. Left to the edges of the universe, left to the depths of the void. Shaelin worried for her sibling, but never did she think he would come back, body and mind mutilated, as the being known as Zon-Kuthon. As her brother left destruction in his path, eventually the siblings fought, eventually ending in a draw and a truce. To this day, the siblings do what they can to not interact with each other, all while Shaelin looks for a way to bring her brother back, and Zon-Kuthon looks for a way to tear her limb from limb. But is that the origin of Zon-Kuthon? In reality, no. But it is a secret great enough that I am calling this a side tangent. The part of the show where the dead do not stay dead. In reality, Zon-Kuthon is not Dubrol, or even from this universe. Pharasma is a survivor of a prior universe, but she is not the only one. A mysterious, mad being named Zon-Kuthon also survived, becoming a parasite of madness which is currently puppeteering the poor god's body. Or, at the very least, that's what the Winged Song Testaments say. Who Zon-Kuthon really is, his real goals, and everything else about this being are unknown. Something even time might not tell us. The appearance of Zon-Kuthon is one which tends to vary. He always appears as a pale man, disfigured in some shape or form. Sometimes it is wounds held open with hooks. Sometimes he sports piercings through muscle or bone. Sometimes he is flayed open in multiple places. Sometimes his lips are moved, eyes are placed with crystals, or skull and brain exposed. Usually, human depictions settle for a pale man in black with one noticeable wound. It's a little easier to draw that way. Zon-Kuthon is a deity of complete and utter nihilism. He and his followers do not care about anything. It shows in the fact that they walk to destroy their bodies. But in general, it is those who do not care about life, death, or in between, who are the Midnight Lord's chosen, who the Midnight Lord chooses as his favorites. When he interferes in the lives of mortals, it is usually to give them exactly what they desire, while making sure the price they pay vastly outweighs the benefits. in everything, all which is needed to earn his favor, is pain. And pain is one of the first and foremost points of worship among his followers, a majority being some form of sadist or masochist. Either way, body modifications or self-mutilations is the norm, as well as having open and bloody wounds. Well, at points bloody. The followers of Zon-Kuthon are in fact incredibly skilled at cleaning wounds. After all, purposeful pain is one thing, infections are another. There are two styles of clothing which are common in the faith. Either a sexualized form of the gods' black clothing, or the tan skin of others. And when it comes to priests, they reach that level because of their desire for power without responsibility. While they can take the pain, they are the ones who want to bring pain to the world. Others are those who once started as mad or damaged, and then found the Midnight Lord as the only one who would accept them and their desires. The church tends to operate in small cells, partially because there are only a few places where the faith is welcomed, partially because, as seekers of power, they tend to clash when they grow too large. Usually when there is a question of authority, the two have duels which involves destroying their own bodies to show how much pain they can take. And one final note is how often priests, whether openly or hidden, function as healers. Though considering it makes sense, considering their mission is to maximize pain, not death. And we also have another topic where, while we are dealing with the faith, creatures considered gifts of Zon-Kuthon. Our second side tangent, shadow animals. After all, I talked about shadow magic back when I talked about Nidal, but we still have familiars to go through. By infusing animals with shadow, or pulling animals from the shadow plane like shadowhounds, several casters can gain the powers of darkness. Some more shadowy practices you will find among these creatures include concealing you within their shadows, creating fear from their unsettling existence, taking other shadows. Either way, they are a little more melancholic, but they are still good boys. The faith's churches grow from torture chambers, and those which not start quickly become so. Whether chains on the walls are temporarily or permanent depends on how large or open Zon-Kuthon's faiths are in the area. And let's not forget the centerpiece of the temples, an idol used as the representative of Zon-Kuthon. And by idol I mean either corpse or still living, heavily disfigured mortals. Shrines tend to be built in places where great violence happened, and the followers leave skulls, blood, and spikes at the location until the feel of the place is complete. Zon-Kuthon's realm is special, for it was originally used to trap him. He had made a deal with Abadar to live in exile in the Plane of Shadows until the day the sun disappeared from the sky, and he complied, letting himself be imprisoned in Zon-Kuthon, separate from the rest of creation. However, Earthfall fulfilled the word of the contract, allowing him freedom. However, he liked the place and so kept it. Now it is an obsidian wall of pure blackness, extending the tower above the Plane of Shadows. No one knows what the inside looks like. The only thing that they can make out is the constant sound of screams from within. Now the miscellaneous. Where is his faith strongest? Through old pacts, he owns the country of Nidal, and from there his influence has spread to Belkzen, Cheliax, and Rurisia. His faithful have also found positions of power in torturous, in places where the sun is unwelcome, like Irisen or Geb. The Midnight Lord's holy text is the Umbrella Leaves, a book, as one would expect, bound in flayed human skin, the words made by staining in blood. These books contain the prophecies of Zon-Kuthon's prophets, and everything is set randomly instead of consistently across all volumes. Zon-Kuthon has two main holidays. First, joy-making is a ritual where a person is reduced to a torso, and what is considered an extremely enviable position within the church. The other is the Eternal Kiss, where, on the year's first new moon, a victim is taken, treated with luxury for 11 days, and then killed slowly and horribly, as if that last part were in any doubt. Of course, we still have plenty which needs to be mentioned. Bringing us to Side Tangent 3 is our old favorite, Divine Fighting Styles. This is another one from Weapons Master Handbook, so no backstory, but Zon-Kuthon's Fleshing is a fighting style that combines the Spike Chain and Pain, which are already two good old friends. It starts out by allowing one to use precise wrist movements to peel the skin off your opponents and yourself, but if you know the style, you will likely enjoy that part. And with training, you can make the already sickening experience completely nauseating to your opponent. And on to our final side tangent, the various ceremonies and celebration of Zon-Kuthon, specifically in Nidal, beyond the above typical holidays. First is the Festival of Night's Return, celebrated at the autumn equinox, a public festival with a parade of flagellants, much more bloody in the celebrations in large towns than in the countryside. We have the Feast of Survivors, which is a feast set on human bones, a reminder that you lived this past year. Finally, the Shadow Chaining, where the people celebrate shadow animal companions by letting them maul people preying on the sides of the road. All sounds just lovely, does it not? And finishing it off with relationships, nothing needs to be said about his relationship between him and his sister. Everyone else, well, Zon-Kuthon does not work well with others. He and Asmodeus have a shallow truce, as the same with the slave traders of Loremaster. As for planar allies, first mention goes to Dominic the Unquenchable, a powerful priest of Zon-Kuthon who was turned into a vampire and then disemboweled by his own church. He has never healed his empty chest cavity, and the fact that all blood drink spills out makes him constantly hungry. Vital is a Vastuk who opens runes on its body to reveal eyes, tongues, and maggots. It does not like touching the ground, so it has its feet wrapped in its own flesh. Finally, Zon-Kuthon's herald, the Prince in Chains, was once a powerful nature spirit and the father of Dubral and Shaylin. However, when he confronted Zon-Kuthon, he was tortured to the point of madness, transformed from a noble wolf to a mass of living chains, constantly in a state of pain. And that brings us to the end of the terror which is Zon-Kuthon. But we are not done playing in the shadows yet. We'll be dealing with the plane a lot. Well, we'll be dealing with the planes a lot in the coming months. So let's get a head start with the close cousin of the elemental planes. But we'll be dealing with that next week.